Hey guys, it's Em. Now, I just want to start off this video with a statement. Humor is subjective. It's probably one of the most subjective topics in entertainment. It's the main reason why there's so many forms of it. If I did hypothetically dislike any comedy, I just want you to know that it's my personal opinion, and you might find whatever I'm talking about the finest humor to ever grace this earth. With all that being said, Hokuto DD is the biggest piece of dog shit I've ever had the misfortune of laying my eyes on. Let me dig into this. I had known about DD for a long time. I remember watching the anime in high school and effectively purging it from my memory right afterwards. The only takeaways I had from it is the designs of the characters are a little cute, they're a little nice, and I didn't remember laughing a single time. Somehow it was brought up again a few times in my Discord, and while I originally was going to review Amoeba Isekai this week, the DD manga just sort of happened to pop up in front of me. And I felt if I didn't mash it out in a live the moment I remembered it existed, there wasn't ever going to be any way I'd talk about this thing. DD feels like one of your parents that vaguely understands what you like, says said thing out loud and expects you to laugh. It's actively painful. Let me specify, a spin-off referencing the main story isn't a problem. When it's literally every other joke, that's kind of when it gets annoying. One of the final chapters, they legitimately make references to base HNK every other panel. And the joke is literally, hey, I recognize this scene, but they made it goofy! And the worst part is in some cases, they'll make the exact same reference again and again. Toki is one of the least funny characters in this entire manga for me, because all he does is cough up blood and they expect you to clap like a seal every time he does it. It's the only joke they have for him, and it's brain-numbing after the 800th time he shows up on screen and does the exact same thing, barely altered every fucking time. The references could have been funny if executed right. One with Yurya saying she'll jump off of a 7-Eleven sign made me laugh because of A, how random it was, and B, they managed to make their own joke and blending it with a reference in a good way. But there's only 3 other creative jokes like this in the entire manga. And the fucked up part is I didn't even laugh at the other 2. And the other reference jokes they go for that aren't just edited scenes from the original are just like, look at how quirky this would be in real life. But Maya's joke is that she's a cop, but she still uses her blades? What the hell? Cops don't use those. Ken uses Hokuto against the roach and the joke is, a bit overboard, don't you think? Ken shit, bro? It's like literal infant humor. They do try to carve some of their own original jokes loosely based off of the characters, but they suck ass. Fudo's joke is that he loves kids and people are worried about him. It's so funny. Ray's joke is that he likes his sister too much. Incest is fucking hilarious, I guess. Rin and Yurya are both jealous for Ken, and I feel like I don't need to explain why a child and a grown woman fighting over a grown man is a little fucking weird. All of the jokes that are just in this book are really weak, if not barely legal. Then let's break away from all that and talk about our characters. To talk about Amoeba Isekai for a moment. In that story, Amoeba's goofiness overrides a lot of his base personality. He's pretty wacky in comparison to that counterpart, to the point where they're barely the same character, other than the fact that he says he's a genius and a few little things like knowing Toki and mentioning Hokuto, which was fine. It was a sacrifice made to enhance the humor of that story. The reason this is done is because base Amoeba isn't particularly that funny. He's really a serial killer when you think about it, sacrificing people for his own experiments, and that entire aspect of his character just murdering people for shits and giggles isn't incorporated into Amoeba Isekai because there's nothing funny to go off of with that. Why am I bringing this up? Well, because Hokuto DD felt like it just dragged the main cast out of the base story and hardly changed anything about them. Ken, Toki, and Rao aren't funny characters. Ken and Rao are just stoic dudes who hardly react to anything, which works at base HNK. But in a comedy, they need a bit more than that to be funny. And Toki is just a good dude in the base story. That's his whole characterization. He's a good guy, which is fucking boring. But anytime these characters are on the page, their jokes are just going to be stuck to references because they don't have anything else interesting to do. There's no character moments they can have. And the rest of the characters just kind of exist. They're not super funny. They don't have a ton of jokes based off of them. They're just there. I really don't know what else to say about this. I don't like this manga. The other 2 times I laughed at this manga is I think because I mentally broke at this point reading it in one sitting, and Shin just appearing on the screen triggered some neuron or something. Maybe the anime is the cream of the crop and pulls it out of the depths, but if this is the garbage source material, I don't know if I want to shift through 30 minutes a pop of episodes to find out. Again, humor is subjective. You can disagree with me, and apparently this is a hot take because somehow this got an 8 out of 10, but whatever. This mainly serves into my stepping stone to get into Amoeba Isekai next week, which in my opinion is the best HNK comedy, but what do you guys think? Am I horribly wrong? Is Hokuto DD secretly the funniest creation ever known to man? As always, I'm glad to discuss with you guys in the comments, and I've been out, and I am out.